Primary election day in Colorado is in the rearview mirror. While we are still waiting for some results to be finalized, we do know who will be Democratic nominee for governor. Attorney General Phil Weiser defeated U.S. Senator Michael Bennet last night. Weiser is now likely to become the state's next governor, as Colorado has not elected a Republican governor in the past 55 years. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sam Shocker. Weiser, who was first elected as Attorney General in 2018 and re-elected in 2022, gained over 55% of the vote. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch has more on last night's results.
Phil Weiser is overwhelmingly the favorite to win come November. Republicans have only elected one governor in the last 55 years. The last Republican challenger went up against Jared Polis and lost by nearly 20 points. Weiser and Bennet both ran very similar campaigns, promising to make Colorado more affordable and calling out President Trump. Bennet came into the race a favorite, but Weiser snuck out the win early last night.
Coloradans want someone who's on their side, working side by side with them. That's what our campaign was about. That's what people in the room here felt. That's how I'm going to govern.
The mantra Weiser consistently used on his campaign was Weiser for governor and Bennet for Senate. And that's exactly where he'll stay. Because he did lose, he does still retain his seat in Washington. He did say in his concession statement that he congratulates Weiser and that he will also continue to serve Colorado as best he can. In Denver, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Janelle, thank you. As for the Republican primary for governor, that race is still too close to call. When that race is called, we will, of course, update you on air and online. Meanwhile, one of the most watched races in the state was the race for Colorado's first congressional district. Political newcomer Maylot Quiros defeated 30-year incumbent Diana DeGette. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon has more from last night's historic result.
It was the end of a decades-long run for one of the candidates. Political newcomer Maylot Quiros unseated Democratic incumbent Diana DeGette. DeGette served 15 terms in Colorado's first congressional district. That's as long as 29-year-old Quiros has been alive. So last night, Quiros celebrated her victory at the Broadway. She kept an early lead before the race was called around 10 p.m. The first-time candidate and Democratic socialist pledged to refuse corporate PAC money. She's also aligned herself with emerging candidates across the nation who are running as young, bold, and unbought. CU Regent Wanda James also ran to unseat DeGette. She conceded at 9 p.m. last night. Quiros has been endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders. DeGette had support from Colorado's established Democratic House delegation. Quiros faces criticism from some members of Colorado's Jewish population over her strong opposition to Israel's occupation of Palestine. Here's her response to critics who've accused her of anti-Semitism.
My commitment has always been to protecting the sanctity and dignity of all life. That includes every single person of all faith, all different religions, and that especially includes the Jewish community, especially now as anti-Semitism is rising all across the state and all across this country. And I look forward to working with the community to figure out how we can combat that hate.
If elected in November, Quiros would become Colorado's first Democratic socialist in Congress and marks a shift towards more progressive leadership in one of the state's most reliably Democratic districts. In Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
Courtney, thank you. A number of other key races were decided last night in the Democratic primary for Attorney General. Current Secretary of State Jena Griswold won her party's nomination, moving on to the general election this November. In the Democratic race for Secretary of State, Jefferson County Clerk and Recorder Amanda Gonzalez defeated State Senator Jesse Danielson. Gonzalez received more than 430,000 votes, with 89% of the total votes counted. And Manny Rutinel has won Colorado's 8th congressional district. He defeated Shannon Byrd. For a full breakdown of last night's results, you can head to our website at 9news.com. We are continuing to follow a number of wildfires that are burning throughout our state. In Ouray County, FEMA has approved federal funding to help fight the Gold Mountain fire. It's already burned more than 14,000 acres, threatening homes and forcing evacuations there. As of this morning, the fire is still 0% contained. The Fire Management Assistance Grant will cover 75% of the state's eligible firefighting costs, but does not provide aid to homeowners or businesses. In Mesa County, the Snyder Fire is 10% contained and burning over 30,000 acres. That fire remains the largest fire burning in the state. And finally, the Ferris Fire is still also 0% contained. That fire is burning over 23,000 acres across San Juan National Forest. That fire has 3 fires before merging into one. Lightning is believed to be the cause. All right, well, speaking of all these conditions, let's check in now with our Corey Reppenhagen. Corey, how does the weather look? Is it going to hurt the firefighters' chances of battling these blazes, or is it going to help?
Yeah, no, the weather's not going to help today. We have another day of very concerning fire weather conditions, which is when the weather contributes to extreme fire behavior, in particular fast fire spread. So that's what we will likely see today with the weather contributing to these fires. Right now, we have clear skies over this city of Denver right now, but we all know it's clear because there's no clouds, but it's not clear because it is hazy with the wildfire smoke being in the air. 82 degrees right now at the 9 News studios and out at Denver International Airport. We're likely headed to about 90 degrees across the Front Range here. We'll stay pretty sunny and hazy straight through the day all the way up until about 2:30 when the clouds start to show up and give us some relief, but fire weather warnings are all across the state of Colorado, in particular all the fire zones. We have some fire weather in our area in the Front Range foothills and also down here on the Palmer Divide to the south of Colorado, or south of Denver near Colorado Springs. Here is the 7-day forecast in Denver. Nothing but high heat, dry conditions and hazy conditions going straight through. We'll warm up for the next couple of days. I'll have some information coming up in the full forecast about fire weather and possible rain in the weekend forecast.
All right, Corey, thank you. Westbound lanes of C-470 are back open after a semi hauling potatoes caught fire. That is according to West Metro Fire. In between Highway 285 and Morrison Road in the westbound lanes is where it occurred. West Metro says the driver did get out safely. The burning truck also started a small grass fire, but crews thankfully were able to get it under control. C-470 is back open now. And today being the start of July means a new round of laws are going into effect. Some of those include prohibiting 3D printing of firearms. Civil actions can be taken for conversion therapy survivors, expanding their rights. Changes to the Affordable Home Ownership Program, as well as changes to marijuana rules for the state. For more detailed lists and also explanations, you can head on over to 9news.com.